finally learn a really good pattern, a really good gameplay to be put out, and I want to see more. I still want to see more on Blacklist International. Despite I know that ONIC PH will definitely have a better chance in actually going the first one into the qualifiers or into the challenge finals itself. But at the same time, I think Blacklist International, they have what it takes as well to put a little bit of ONIC Philippines to run for the money itself. And looking onto the drafting itself, look at this. Granger already been picked off early on, and even Joy been picked out. Now, those are the two deadly heroes already been picked up. And ONIC Philippines, on the other note, they responded well as well. They've already picked up Iritil as well as Suyu itself.
And they started things off with Lo Yi, which is one of the Super Friends signatures. So that already scares me when ONIC starts off their draft with the Lo Yi. Granger and Joy, both top picks so far in the challenge season, and Granger especially has been really inflating gold laner KDAs just because of how difficult it is to catch him if you don't have access to a hero like Joy. And Blacklist already stole that away themselves. Looks like MP still going to be sticking with the same hero pick we've seen throughout the challenge season so far, as well as the Lucas being stolen away. But with the Iritel response, one of the lane counters that is consistent against Granger, ONIC is still prepped and ready to deal with whatever is thrown their way.
I mean, again, Blacklist International, in the first run of their picks already, I feel like they're leaning towards the popular ones, the one that they feel like it's meta. It's meta for a reason, and there's a possibility they've already familiarized and they feel confident enough it can pull through here to fight off with ONIC Philippines. Despite the fact ONIC Philippines, they still have their signatures heroes to be picked up as well, and pretty much, I do feel like ONIC Philippines, they don't really need to worry much about the meta hero pools to be picked up. Now, going into the ban itself, we do see now Angela as well as most of it is like Harit, Matilda. A lot of the mobility heroes are being denied by ONIC Philippines. I think pretty much I like the fact that they allow Blacklist International to get the metas, but they're denying most of the mobility wise or anything that can pull away ONIC Philippines mobility so that they can actually have more composure of that 1v1 fight, especially with Blacklist International.
Mobility control is a very important factor in the current meta, where the speedier team is able to approach angles a bit more easily and control team fights more easily. And ONIC is definitely a team that wants to be in control of the team fight, so removing highly mobile options from Blacklist is a smart idea. And this Angela pick specifically is also meant as respect to Blacklist. This is the only team that has actually picked it up throughout the challenge season. And they actually teased it out a little bit with the Angela, Arome, and Hilda mid. On day one, when we interviewed Coach Bonchan, he did mention that he wanted to try different ways of maybe bringing support heroes into the meta, since they're not really that popular nowadays. And now with the Khalid and CC locked in by ONIC, you have a very mechanically intensive draft that doesn't play the typical front to back. It's very skirmish style and intends to try and split Blacklist apart so that they can deal with them one by one.
Oh, I like this, seriously. I mean, the fact that, again, ONIC Philippines love the drafting. They've already put out a really good idea, or even the response-wise to Blacklist International. But now, we do see IAU has to be cautious right here from the side of ONIC Philippines. I know the fact that IMU has been one of the really good, great mechanism to be put out when it comes to the gameplay or even when it comes to the team fight itself. So I'm looking forward to the drafting of Blacklist right now as they put out that as the last hero itself. And going into the drafting as well, I think that both team has their answer, has what they want to actually portray here for the first match. It's gonna be intense. Do you agree on that, Staffan?
I think it is going to be pretty intense. I think Blacklist definitely have the more default composition, right? They can play more for front to back. They've got solid front lines that can set up for Granger sniping from the back, and then the Joy to maybe run down ONIC. But ONIC just have a full rundown comp themselves, right? It's a more difficult lineup to play, but one that really feels like their signature style that just aims to outplay their opponents in the first place through pure micro mechanics. As the Land of Dawn opens up once again, we've got ONIC Philippines on the blue side versus Blacklist International on the red.
Let's go. First match of the day, number 3. Great drafting, loving it, despite there are a little bit of unorthodox picks, but then again, we're not gonna actually judge or even probably be putting too much of assumption, because I know for a fact that ONIC Philippines, when they want to actually get it done, they will be able to put in a lot of skirmish coming in, a lot of actually just a teasing coming in from Kirk as well as JM Pigman. I mean, feel like they are trying to actually go in for 1v1, a little bit slightly off, trying to actually pull in, but then again, still there's no one to be said that they will be able to get the first blood just yet. Just a little bit of teasing from both sides.
I mean, that's just the EXP lane experience for you right there, right? JM and Kirk have both gone for vengeance, so they're both aiming to be secondary front lines for their team. And from what we've seen already, I do feel like vengeance is a better choice on Lucas overall, just to be able to run into your opponent. He does offer a good amount of crowd control and survivability with the way that his lifesteal works. His skill 1 does regen 8% max HP whenever it connects with an enemy hero, and certain teams have actually found it difficult to remove him from the equation. In comparison, ONIC just doesn't have a front line much at all. But because of that, their team lineup is going to be a lot more formless when it comes to team fighting.
Okay, but we do see that Persada will be almost been tagged out, but able to back away. But at the same time, MPP right on the first right here. Kirk trying to go in, finishing it out. First blood coming in, MPP will be taken out. But Persada managed to persevere right there, only getting that first steal for themselves. But at the same time, right here, it seems like Pinkman gonna go in for their own retract. As we see, King Kong also managed to get the second blood, but at the same time, also managed to get the turtle. But Brusco will be traded off for that 1 kill as well.
It ends up being a 2-for-2 trade, but ONIC comes out on top because they were able to get the turtle as well as the kill onto MP quite early on. It seemed like a pretty solid team fight initially, with JM Pigman definitely taking a very crucial role, just outputting so much early game DPS on this Lucas. But ONIC dancing around. This is what I talked about with their lineup, right? You're going to have a hard time predicting exactly where every member is going to be standing. And I do like the willingness of Kirk and Briscoe to just basically throw their bodies to do as much damage as possible before dying.
Okay. Right here, we do see a lot of intensity coming in from ONIC. I mean, right here, even Pinkman trying to actually finish off Kirk as well, trying to go in straight away with the ulti, with the Sacred Beast as well. Oh, trying to push in a little bit too ambitious, but again, it's just trying to actually pull out and get a hold of the situation. But that 1v1 is still not going to be enough to pull through, especially the fact, even though they are already on that level 4.
Yeah. Looking at the state of the game right now, what typically makes top-tier teams like ONIC PH scary oftentimes isn't even their micro-mechanics. It's the speed at which they're able to farm the map. And even though so far the trades have been somewhat even, you can see that in 4 minutes, ONIC already has built up that 1k lead. So Blacklist ideally wants to keep up with this a little bit. In comparison, their lineup is actually a lot more late game centric, right? You want to hit the Holy Crystal timing on the Joy, you want to reach around the time where you get like the third item on the Iratel, and the Valentina also ideally wants to have a few things under her belt before she's able to really do consistent DPS. Because of that, it's actually somewhat expected ONIC should be in control in the earlier stages.
And this is where the fine line that Blacklist, they really have to be aware of the situation. If they go in too early on for the screams, they will be taking off a lot of hits or probably getting a lot of the cooldown. But here are not going to go in for the stun. Managed to actually lock down at least Kirk, but not going to be able to do so. Only enough with MPPs inserting himself, able to take down, but at what cost? With 2 trades already in the side of ONIC Philippines itself, with the fact that even though they've tried to invest so much resources there,
we can see the dynamic between these two teams' team fights just in the way that that turtle pit was approached. MP just a bit too late to try and retry steal that from King Kong as ONIC secures another neutral. But Blacklist is trying to go for the more typical front to back, right? JM was actually standing in the back line trying to see if he could CC and poke out Briscoe and King Kong, but then immediately got isolated by the rest of ONIC. But now JM
Pinkman will be taken out by Kirk at the same time with even though MPP was trying to help it out, but it's a bit too late. And I think a little bit of ambitious of Pinkman to actually try to pull through. Even the fact that he was already in his own beast form is still not going to be easy with the fact that Kirk and Sprints is together.
Normally, a lineup like this with ONIC can be a bit difficult to play with, especially towards the mid to late game. But in the early game, if you combo it with a well-coordinated squad, you can see just how active they can be on this map, right? Their rotations are very, very quick, very decisive, and Perseva's already dead.
Going in, almost able to take down. Oh, Pigman try to push away now. A little bit of overextension will be taken out now. At the same time, they're gonna go try to pull away. MPP try to push into Kara, but at the same time, he will be taken out as well by King Kong. At the same time here, Haji, we gotta be careful. He's almost been taken out. Had to pull away before he became another casualty.
Kelra does end up falling there, but it is a very worthy trade as it is 1-4-3 in favor of ONIC. And that is with them diving the mid-tier 1 at the same time. An absolute victory here that immediately inflates their gold lead to 4.5k. Another tower dropping. Blacklist already slowly losing more and more control of the map. Hero picks like this allow ONIC to be incredibly independent. They don't really need to be reliant on being together in order to make things happen, and they're able to make split-second decisions within team fights on their own terms based on what they think is going to be the most effective for the team. It is a lineup that requires a lot of faith between one another to be able to do what they each need to do. But we can see that it is working out very well. The diversion still being very active and outplayed, being caught out in the mid lane.
Oh, coming in for a fight here, Super Prince, and they try to caught on. I don't think it's going to be able to do so. MPPPP will take down Super Prince first of all. Kirk will be in the midst with a really good strong coming in for the push, but King Kong coming in to go in for Haji. Just a little bit more, he will be able to clear out. Now pushing in straight, Kara will be in the victim. MPP push in for the triple kill at the same time. King Kong just leading off, let Blacklist get the win because he's left all alone. Not going to allow that casualty to be taken out by Perseva. Is looking for the next blood. It seems that he will try to pull away or push King Kong from their own territory, but it's a really good win coming in from Blacklist.
Perseva was actually able to steal the purple buff back away. MP gonna get the turtle, able to dash away from the curtain call as well. So Blacklist finally getting a chance to breathe in the land of dawn here. I already mentioned that ONIC's lineup is very suited to their particular gameplay style, but it is more difficult to play and more risky for this particular reason. Independent gameplay that leaves a lot of trust to each member can get punished if you end up overextending before the rest of your team is really ready to respond.
Oh, coming in already, Super Prince will be locked down. Taken down immediately by Outplay. At the same time right here, Kirk is right in the midst. They all hold it out straight to Kirk. But at the same time, Kirk was taken down, able to take down Outplay. But at the same time, for the trade by the MPP itself. But King Kong pushing in as well. Pinkman gonna go all out straight. But it's not gonna be easy as King Kong has already moving away with Brusco.
I think ONIC already knew that they probably weren't going to be able to win that last fight. They're just trying to cut their losses. But MP comes on in, gets the shutdown. An unstoppable streak on King Kong inside his own jungle. Kelra was able to get the bot tier 2, but still not the most beneficial trade for ONIC Philippines as Blacklist finally getting the scaling they need and are starting to bite back on the map.
Oh, this is tough. I mean, we do see now finally Blacklist is already at a really good best form to be fighting off. Early on, it was a little bit too ambitious, a little bit too overextension. They want to actually try to go over for the team fight itself. But now we do see that Blacklist, they've already got it down. They finally know how to actually shut down most of the players of ONIC. And this is where we see Blacklist will be able to actually try to turn things around for themselves.
One of the big concerns about ONIC Philippines lineup is that they really don't have a lot of reliable crowd control to be able to lock down MP on this Joy specifically, since they have Khalid, Roam, and CCEXP. Diversion into the mid lane, but Blacklist isn't really nearby, so ONIC will just settle for controlling the Lord Pit instead. But because they're not able to lock down the Joy, MP is being left largely unchecked. And when ONIC is mostly split up doing their own thing during skirmishes, that is the situation that a Joy will thrive in the most, especially now that he's got that Blood Wings to even further increase his durability.
I'm gonna actually try to contest for the lot here. We do see ONIC will try to bait out Blacklist, whether or not they want to actually try to actually fight off here in the midst, or will they actually just play it off with time? This is all disciplines coming in from both sides of the team.
See Calra already doing some good damage. Curtain Call comes out from Kirk quite early on, but Blacklist still maintaining very safe positioning on the map. They want to pick off members first.
Oh, MLBB try to go in, but King Kong will be the first one to go in all out. Avatar Guardian been invested, able to take down King Kong, but at the same time, King Kong will be shut down by JMP Man. And coming in right now, Persada also trying to push in straight. Is also trying to go in all out for Kurt, but it's not going to be enough. But MPP going to try to finish it off, getting off that monster kill straight away to shut down, getting 2 pieces on the side. And this is where Blacklist open up for the Lord.
Yep, things are now looking a little bit dicey for ONIC Philippines. Blacklist are very good at fighting as a 5-man overall, and their lineup makes it so that they can stay pretty safe. They don't really need to split each other up, making it so that ONIC has to try and force something in their rotation instead. And so far, they've been a little bit unsuccessful in making things uncomfortable for their opponents, thus allowing Blacklist to just play the game they wanted to so far. Despite everything that happened in the early game, Blacklist now leading in kill score, and the network difference is minuscule for ONIC Philippines. They need a little bit more time. They ideally need more items onto Kelra so that they can really take control of the team fight, and if they can bait out the electrifying beats from MP earlier on, that's a little bit less to worry about when it comes to this mid to late game.
I'm looking out right now, turrets is falling down from the first level. Even the second level is about to be shut down as well, almost close enough. Now they're trying to clear out most of the minions who's actually already marching through, and it seems that the 2 top lanes, which is top and the mid lanes, are already been grounded off for the turret itself, only left with 1 lifeline before they go into the crystal. And on the side right here, we do see Kirk coming in to fight with Pigman. A lot of damage been put out, but at the same time here, 3 players coming in to join into the party as well. Avatar Guardian straight away into Super Prince, but it's not going to call out. But at the same time, Pigman overextension itself, is it going to be enough? No, Kirk will be shutting down that overextension, but Brusco at the same time will be traded off by Outplay.
And the trade Briscoe for JM right now actually is pretty good in favor of ONIC Philippines here, because this Lucas has actually been causing a lot of problems for them. You saw just how long it actually took them to remove him from the map in that previous engagement. Took like 2 or 3 players, and most of them ended up almost killing themselves because of the vengeance as well. It's because of this Lucas that Blacklist is able to take control of the fight so much more easily. I've already highlighted multiple times throughout multiple tournaments that as long as Gatot Kacha has a primary initiator on his team, then he can save the AOG for later in the fight to be a little more threatening. And this Lucas is precisely what he needs. It's lucky that ONIC were able to get Super Friends out in that particular situation, but they had to commit so many resources to do so. Because of that, timing is now looking a little bit tricky for ONIC.
Ooh, an MVP caught in the midst of 3 players. That's not where you want to be. But then again, was able to move away as quickly as possible before being taken out by ONIC. Now, things are getting a little bit peaceful in the Land of Dawn, but at the same time, they are looking forward to the second lot, as it's going to be spawning within the 4 seconds. There are certain teasing coming in. Ziva looking straight to Brusco. So looking for the discipline that is coming in from both sides of the team. Who will be trying to tease out and who will be baiting out. And knowing for a fact that Persada will try to actually get at least the Avatar Guardian to shut down or even locked on ONIC players. That's where the fine line where Blacklist will be able to actually get a hold of the control.
Personally, I feel like ONIC shouldn't be grouping up too much behind the Lord Pit, because they just don't have a team composition that's very good at holding position. Instead, they could be sending Kelra with Super Friends onto the opposite side of the map to get some split push in, and then diversion back into the fight when it is necessary. Because they are all right here, they're not really getting too much macro done on their map. They're relying on slow pushing through the natural minion waves. Kelra being diverted into backline.
Oh, and MPP almost lost lifeline right here. And Brusco will finish off the job. But at the same time, he's right in the midst. Outplay will trade him off instantly. But at the same time, Lord has already been taken out by King Kong. And now they're going to try to go in for a fight, or will Blacklist will shut down. Avatar Guardian, been invested, doesn't let long anyone. But at the same time, they're pushing it, and that's going to be an investment. Haji almost able to clear out. Outplay will be able to finish off the job. At the same time, Kerr almost losing lifeline will clear out by JM Pigman. They got the Lord, but at the same time, Blacklist clears it out for the kills.
A good idea by ONIC to start off with, but they're still trying to jump back in for this.
No, and losing off already Percival as MPP and getting the double kill to JM Pigman and Haji all alone without
Kelra
here. And here on out, Kelra already spotted out his victim. He wants to finish off the job already. Lord is marching in here. MPP coming back, but MPP pushing out and a lot of damage. No, the overextension was not needed, and now was taken out straight away by ONIC.
Punished right there. At this stage, Kelra has actually reached that final item power spike. Even the Wind of Nature baited on outplayed as ONIC in a quick swing of events. It looked like they didn't get the good trade they wanted in the Lord Pit, but Kelra surviving was the true key to victory that they were eyeing here. IOG comes in, but it's not going to be enough.
Avatar Guardian is just to give ideas of life to the side of ONIC. JM Pigman will be taken out by Super Pins, and this is already a tough call going into outplay as well. They're clearing out the crystal immediately, getting the first win right at the dot for the first match of the day.
A very unexpected conclusion to game number 1. As it appeared, Blacklist International were in full control of the mid-game, having a superior 5v5 team composition that made their jobs a whole lot easier. But sometimes